Oh, look at that. Look at it there. Let's go in there, have a look. Yeah, talking about chicken and sleeping on a tree. She's not liking my... Did you see that? She just flew off the banana, but didn't mean to bother her. Sorry about that, darling. But she was literally sleeping up there. She's getting ready to sleep. That's quite cool.
Forget about sustainability. You want to enrich ecosystems.
Every being is equipped to live a positive, energetic balance.
Keep it pruned.
We are cultivating abundance.
Not a problem to cut down trees. The problem is not planting them.
Yo, what's up, Agroforestry Academy crew? Everything good? So today, thinking to share with you guys what's been happening here, City of Jazz. So this is the challenge of the day. It's been the challenge of the last couple of months, and today, everyday challenge with our electric shock system. So it's worth, sharing all the difficulties and all the understandings and all the evolutions and things like that, right? So let's talk about it. Just before we do, man, check it out. So guys, just very quickly, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that now. All right, it's free. Make that button great and make my day. Follow us and be the first to know when the new content's out. And if you appreciate this video, smash that like button and help us reach more people so others can too learn about agroforestry. And without any further ado, let's get rolling with today's content. That's what it's all about, man, supporting the channel to keep us going. Thanks very much, man. So check it out. We have this electric system here, our 2 hectare forestry systems for the cows and the chickens. So, we've got a few videos on how we planted this initially. It's picking up. I had a lot of difficulties getting, this electric shock, working to be really booming and that. For a long time I was working, with the power module where it's attached to a physical plug on the wall. And in the rain season, for example, there is a lot of lightning, and I end up going through about 5, 6 every rain season where the lightning strikes, and then the energy is not so stable. I'm at the very end of this energy line, so it's very unstable down here. And when the lightning strikes, it comes through the mains and everything. So big expenses there. And so one thing I have done, after a long time, I've got the solar panel one, which I'm just chuffed about. I'm really excited about it. It's a real upgrade on that. If you consider it, it might cost double what another electrifier would cost, but it's forever now. So it comes with the built-in battery and things like that, so it's really cool. It's no worries really. They say it can go for like 14 days, clouded, and so it's all about the solar panel. This is a real breakthrough for me. And I went out and got the strongest one, for 150 kilometers. Don't know how many joules, it didn't measure it in joules, but 150 kilometers is basically the most powerful one I personally found out here in Brazil, out of all the main shops that I looked for. So I went for the strongest one, so we can afford a little bit of loss. And but the biggest breakthrough of them all was our friend Jack. Yes, Jack. Nice one for exchanging all this information with you. We've been hitting some information backwards and forward, where he tipped me off, for the voltmeter. The voltmeter, right, where I'm actually measuring the volts. It's like, but because my cows weren't respecting it, and how many volts. I was like, well, I don't know, it's just it's ticking. Usually we can tell if the tick is really strong, it's strong, but how many volts, I don't know. And because I've been working for many years with electric shocks, I've never needed this, because for a horse, which is what I'd been working previously, any voltage, they're very frightened animals, and they're also so very intelligent and all of that. So I mean, they'll touch it and they'll respect that. If it's 1,000 volts, 2,000 volts, that's enough for them. But obviously for a cow, I've noticed that we're talking about 7,000-8,000 upwards. So with the voltmeters, like or let's let the cows loose. Hold on, let's measure the volt first. And you know, 2,000-3,000 volts, like hold on, there's something wrong. So it gives you an opportunity to check everything, you know, and make sure that, you know, when you do let them loose, you've let them loose in a high voltage system. So that was a real breakthrough for me. All right, but I'm gonna show you other stuff as well, how we do it, you know, just a few other little tips. Let's have a look at what's going on. So for example, like this, you know, here's is a standard you know, fence, a little, you know, the gateway. So, you know, we'd open this, and what would happen is we would actually, because it's, you know, they're circulating, we're moving them from pastures, so it's not fixed. And what we've actually done, we've put a pole there where, you know, the electric shock will get attached from here to that pole, and then it does the whole big square, and it comes out here. It's about 1,200 meters square here. They're not exactly, this one looks like a little bit one of the bigger ones, so it's probably just over that. So, you know, it's removable. We'll show you what they're looking like over there, the fixed one where the cows are in right now. But this is a good point. You know, I like to have it traveling under, you know, and going through. You know, a lot of people are bringing the shock here, and then they're jumping from here to the fence, you know, and then from the fence jumping from there onwards. I find that, you know, every time I find that this is not good enough. You know, this kind of connection is not good enough to count on it, that, you know, because yeah, everything is metal and it's touching, so theoretically it's traveling, but it's not transmitting the same voltage as before. Whether something more like this is where you know, you transmit the same voltage. You see it there, really tight, and it's like in a way where if you slide that, you know, you can literally slide it. Oh, my fingers got so close to that. If you slide it, it's not actually moving, it's not sliding, so it's actually very tight. So it's one of the things that, you know, really guarantees that every time, you know, you attach, you know, one wire to the other, if you have it nice and tight, nice and round, and also this is a nice clean wire, but if it starts oxidating, you know, if it starts having that layer of like a little bit of rust, or not rust, but, you know, it's nice to have it nice and shiny. So we'll get a nice knife and we'll scrape it, we'll give it a nice little scrape and get it all shiny again, and then, you know, do that, attach it onto that. So both ends should be very, very shiny when you link the wire, so that we transmit the same voltage as we have, you know, when it comes. So I like to, you know, have the voltage on here, you know, from there it jumps to there, you know, but we have it going underneath as well, so it transmits onto that. Added to that, it goes all the way around, and then it comes back to here. It goes from both sides. We've got the electric shocks, we've got connections from all sides, so that, you know, if something goes wrong, it's coming from the other side and things like that. All right, but yes, so really the main tip, what's really important for me, is that we get the right, you know, connections, because like I said, if it was just touching, it doesn't transmit the same shock as original. So let's have a look at where the cows are at actually at the moment. Today we had some of these weren't made with a wire, were made with a string, those nylon strings, these kind of strings here. All right, and I tell you, this is brand new. I just recently bought the string, and it's already all broken and stuff. So like here we can't see a broken one, but I had the shock coming through the string, and it's like, it's not even a month old, and it was all broken up, so the shock wasn't passing. So, you know, because I had the voltmeter, I'd come measuring, I was measuring it, and then I'll walk a little bit and I'll measure it, and I'll be like, all right, so here's 0. So then I chased back the string, and I saw that it was, you know, broken. You know, it was the nylon, even though it was still the string attached, but, you know, some of the metal stuff had all, you know, broken away. So that's no good for me, you know. But this is the headache, because that string is the one that's really easy for you to roll up, you know, and make it, you know, movable. So here we are working with the string here. All right, I have measured it, it's working here, but, you know, I'm not going to bring the electric shock to where I need it through the string. And even these strings, I wish I could use, you know, this metal stuff, but, you know, it's not so easy to roll up. Well, it's quite difficult to roll up and be moving it all the time. And because, you know, the pastures are all different sizes, the squares, they're not exact, so I can't like cut a metal wire and have it precise. You know, it's just so we're having to work with this. Can you see it there? Look, let me try to get the focus on that. Can you see it there where it wants to break already there? You know, and over here, can you see where the little wires, they're actually a little bit dodgy, and and further down the line there, it's actually broken. I've seen it, it's actually broken, but it's actually broken there. But because it comes from one side and the other, so there's a gap where it's broken, but the shock comes from both sides, so I still got electric shock going round. Okay, so we're going into the drought. It's the last time they're going to rotate before we remove them altogether. But we've managed the systems. We brought all the organic matter down, and we've already got some grass growing in the inside of the forest there, in the edges, some elephant grass there, so we will have some grass to cut and feed them. All right, so yeah, so that's been happening there. I mean, I know there are other material, you know, that does this work, you know, that's not necessarily this nylon wire or the metal, you know, wire either. You know, these thicker wires here. There's ones that are ideal for horses. It's like a tape. They're ideal for horses because they break really easy. Because when the horse, you know, when he touches the wire, he's got the tendency to advance. As a big fright, he might want to advance. If it's a metal wire, he could cut himself in the panic of advancing and going through all this wire, and he'll just burst through it even though he's got the shock, and he'll cut himself. So they have these tapes where, you know, he'll get the shock, but if need be, it will break so that it doesn't injure the horse or anything like that, if there's nothing worse happens other than him breaking loose. But you know, these cows, man, they'll be breaking them all the time. An added issue, today's added issue. So we you know, we fixed the string that was broken up, and then we're measuring everything, and we're only hitting the 6,000 watts. This machine was producing 10, 11,000. It was great a couple of weeks ago, but really it hasn't rained whatsoever. Now I'm noticing it's actually it's not grounded. The soil is really dry. So when I actually went and put some water, obviously in the grounded and bars by the electric, you know, the electric box there. So I put water there. That was all right. I mean, I wasn't exactly there. The problem is actually where we're stepping. So for you to have the shock, you need to step. It needs to be the minimum humidity for you to, you know, so that electricity conducts to the ground. And because it's very, very dry, it's like it's dropped to about 6,000 from 10, 11,000 volts. So I don't know what to do now, really, to be honest. I do have a hint. So this is not the finished project yet. From what I understand, if we get the electric wire there, and then we get a wire that's grounded, the one that goes into the ground and is grounded, and I put it parallel to this one, so that when the animal touches this one and then touches the ground wire, it closes the circuit and he gets a real hard shock. It doesn't depend on touching the soil to be grounded. So this is what I'm gonna have to do. Actually, I'm gonna have to pull a second wire from where it's grounded at the machine, and which you won't have the shock on it. It will only have the shock once you touch the shock wire and then you touch the ground wire together, and then it closes the shock, and then bang. So that's what I'm gonna have to do now for the drought. We actually, you know, evolving with this. So this video is not about the finished project, it's about what's happening, you know. Well, basically, I mean, we can sum it up. It's not as simple as that, you know, just get the wires in, put it in the plug, and, you know, pull everything and stretch all the wires. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. From when you attach one wire to the other, it needs to be firm, it needs to be passing that currency. The wiring material, you know, it can't be so fragile where it's breaking. The soil humidity affects it quite a lot, and ultimately the voltmeter is what gives you the guarantee, because, you know, if you let them out and then they go to burst through everything, and then you got to, you know, come back and you spend a lot of labor, you know, fixing everything and then letting them out again, like, you know, blindly. So it's all about the voltmeter. All right, guys, so let me know if you can give me any tips on this. I know people out there been, you know, New Zealand is like, you know, cutting edge they've been using electric shocks for herding animals, you know, over 40 years, pioneer and that kind of stuff. Here I've been using it, I think I've been using it for a long time, about 6-7 years with the horses. I never really had a problem, but it seems like the cows are a little bit more dodgy, and the chickens as well. The chickens, the feathers, I mean, it's really difficult to keep them in. I know Felipe's had success in the past. Obviously there was a lot of schooling going on. I tried with the schooling with the chickens, where I put the wire inside like their nest, where they learned that was the shock. But still, with these wires, just these wires, they'll just burst straight through it. So I'm still breaking my head with this. I've spoken to Jack about his system, where you have the net, where you guys abroad you have those nets, you know, those square nets for the chickens where they don't pass through. Basically the information I got is that it does hold the chicken in more from the net, not necessarily from the electric shock. They're very resistant to electric shock. So they need to be very well schooled, these chickens, maybe from when they're very little, so that they learn to respect this shock from the very first stages. All right, anyway, let me know if you guys have been through anything similar. And yeah, I mean, the 2 hectare system here is starting to produce fruits. This evening now, I'm harvesting our first banana bunch. Oh, look at that, look at it there. Let's go in there, have a look. Yeah, talking about chicken and sleeping on a tree. She's not liking my... Did you see that? She just flew off the banana, but didn't mean to bother her. Sorry about that, darling. But she was literally sleeping up there. She's getting ready to sleep. That's quite cool. Alright, so for now, let's check out the nice view, and till next time.
We are nature. There's nothing that isn't nature. Everything is nature. There's nothing outside its realm. So it's really a big mistake that we have been making for a while, to separate ourselves from it.